Are you the family CEO? Maybe you are, and you don't even know about this title. This is really big. So I came up with this concept about 15 years ago. I was working with a client. It was a mom. She was a professional, and she had her own career, but she was also really running her household. She was the one that was kind of in charge of goal setting and kid activities and grocery shopping, and she was really managing her household. Okay. And I remember chatting with her going like, you really are like the family CEO. And she kind of paused and she's like, yeah, Karyn, actually I am. But the challenge was that she actually kind of resented how much she was doing. So there's family CEO, and then there's also people and parents, and we can probably all relate to this, that are simply just doing way too much within the family. So let me kind of differentiate a few of these things and talk about what is a family CEO, why every family actually needs it, and maybe who should be really the right person for it. So what exactly, when I say the word family CEO, what am I talking about? I'm talking about every system needs a leader, okay? So every family needs a leader, every organization needs a leader and leaders. So in a family, you need one person, at least one, that is really going to be, the CEO is really, it's like the vision caster. It's the person, the visionary. They kind of like see the big picture. They kind of love to kind of think about their overall family life in terms of what's our vision, what's our goals, what are our values, what are the things we want to kind of say yes to. So they're like the vision casters for the family. And then based on that, they can kind of like start putting all their the practical things kind of in place in terms of whether it's activities or trips or the different kind of things that need to happen in terms of running a household. Every household needs somebody to kind of like take the lead. Okay, so that's what I would that's how I would kind of describe a CEO. However, a CEO does not mean, and this is really important, it does not mean that they do all the work. And I think that's where the trap becomes, is I think a lot of times the person that is running that household is doing way too much. And so the reason why a CEO is so important is because think about family life. There's so much that is coming at all of us. We are all moving at such an important speed. And so it's really important to have a leader at that can really kind of take the reins and say, okay, as the leader, let's kind of like lean in. Let's really clarify in terms of what are our goals and our values that we want to stand by this year, and what are we going to start saying no to everything else. Somebody needs to take that role. It's a very important role. Otherwise, it's going to be complete chaos in a system. So that's why it's important. So then the question then becomes, who is it and how to structure it? So the best way to do it, and I'll share with you in terms of how my husband and I do it, but the best way to do it is in a couple, and I'm talking about in a couple dynamic, generally speaking, there's at least one person that usually finds it quite energizing in terms of vision casting. So think about your own relationship. And who is that person that is just kind of naturally, they love to vision cast, they love to goal set, they find that really energizing. That is kind of like their natural skill set. That is a good person possibly to kind of take on that role. And so I'll share with you in terms of how my husband and I do it. So I have adopted that role. Okay, that's one of the hats that I wear. So I love vision casting. I love goal setting. I find it extremely energizing. And so I will spend hours every year thinking about vision goals. What do I kind of envision for our family? What are the things we want to say yes to? What are the things we want to actually say no to? And then what I will do is I will pitch it to my husband. My husband, who is an equal partner, equal power, equal decision maker. I want to then pitch and say, okay, here's what I'm thinking. What do you think? And so the end result of that conversation is we have one unified plan. Okay, so I might be the one that kind of spearheads it, takes initiative on it, but he's going to be an equal partner and in terms of that final product. So once we have that one plan that now we are both as the leaders of the family, what we're going to do then is we're now going to kind of cascade that to our kids, get their kind of buy-in in terms of here's our vision, our goals, our priorities for the year. What do you actually think? So now we want to try to engage them actually in that process. And then out of that comes all kinds of other things around delegation, who kind of does what, because you don't want the family CEO and the leaders of the family system to be doing all the work. If you do all the work, you're going to start feeling really resentful. So the leaders of the system simply are the one that is really setting the vision, brainstorming the vision, clarifying that vision, and then making sure that they delegate accordingly to everybody else. And so when you have that, you're going to have this really a much more calm family life where it's very clear around your goals, your priorities, who's kind of doing what, so that there's a shared responsibility, so it doesn't feel like one person is actually doing all the work. You've got kind of ongoing kind of communication, making sure that you're actually aligned, and that you can really perform at a really high level as a family, have incredible connection time with lowered stress. That's what we're all after, isn't it? We all want to have a really wonderful, meaningful family life, marriage and family, and with our children with lowered stress. So the question that I have for you is, are you the family CEO? Is that the right role for you? And if so, own it. Try to follow this kind of the steps that I just kind of have outlined. And if it's not you, then talk to your partner if you have one to see whether or not, are they the better person for it? The key thing with any time when we're clarifying roles is the best scenario is you kind of sign up for the role that is a natural fit for you. And so food for thought, everybody. Think to yourself, am I the family CEO? I'm going to own it. I'm going to take this and actually run with it, or do I actually talk with my partner and my spouse about maybe they should be that role, and you can be that, play the role that my husband plays to me. So food for thought, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you at our next video.